Coming up on this week's podcast, Allan shares his thoughts on some of the latest films doing a movie roundup. We get the lowdown from E3, Xbox style with Martin. But first, we discuss the future of robots in our civilization. Let's roll. You're listening to the 3 Pixels Tech, Gaming and Movie Podcast, brought to you by Allan Taylor, Martin Gregory, and me, Ben Ridley. Hello and welcome back to the 3 Pixels Podcast. We're here with episode number 10 for your ears. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in and showed us love over the last few episodes. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you doing? Tap that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to tell a friend about the episode. Tell someone today. Get them to listen in and enjoy the content that we put out just as much as I hope you guys enjoy it as well. We're getting close to that 2,000 listens mark, so if you can help push us there, we will love you forever, I promise. We're here recording this episode in the wonderful White City, thanks to the Media Works. Big shout out to them. We're in the podcast pod here with some beautiful views, but not as beautiful as the view I've got right in front of me. Introducing long-running co-host of the 3 Pixels Was Pixel podcast, Martin. How are you today?
Me? I'm flattered, Ben. That's how I feel after that. Wow, we are surrounded by lovely views. But to say that I am a lovely view, Ben, wow. Oh, you've earned yourself a dinner later on, I think.
Thank you very much. Looking slightly bewildered about this slightly awkward third wheel conversation that he's now involved in.
Yeah, should I be here?
I don't know. But you're here anyway, and have been here for 10 episodes now. I've been here for wonderful 10 episodes. It has been a pleasure having you all the way. It wouldn't be the Movie Corner without him. He is the critic of anything film related. Allan, how are you?
I'm very good. Yeah, thanks for taking me out to White City.
Let me take you on a trip to the city of tomorrow. Almost like something straight out of a science fiction movie, crime-preventing robots, Robocops, have been popping up in cities around the world over the last year. The first one was shown off outside the world's tallest tower, the Burj Khalifa, in Dubai last June. But since then, what has it achieved? Power Robotics, the company who created the cyber police officer, shed some light on its duties, which seem to be less Hot Fuzz and more Mary Poppins, a helpful tourist guide rather than a crime stopper. A quote here says, "This robot joined the Dubai police to help citizens in an innovative and engaging way, and that is located by now in tourist attractions and shopping malls." So, you may wonder, what are the skills of this robot? Well, they include speaking multiple languages and guiding people to popular points of interest. Very crime-stopping, I hear you say. You may think this is probably a total waste of money, and you could be right, but Dubai believe this will help make the police service smarter and hope to roll out many more computer-controlled, unstaffed police stations, 25% to be exact, by 2030. A quote here says, "These kind of robots can work 24/7. They won't ask you for sick leave or maternity leave. They can also work completely around the clock." The aim originally was to allow the robots to help the elderly find their way home and provide a way of contacting the police in an emergency. However, fears of the reality of this grew when in July 2017, a security robot used to patrol an office building in Washington was found drowned in a fountain. It's not all doom and gloom, however, and the world's global powerhouse in electronics aren't sitting around on the idea. China, which is building what it calls the world's biggest surveillance camera network, are rolling out robots in train stations and airports. It is equipped with a series of cameras and has, according to reports, already used its sensors to detect a small fire. It can also recognize faces, allowing it to track and follow potential criminals or suspicious people. So, many people believe that our skies will be full of flying robots in the next 10 years. Others believe that robots could be maintaining urban infrastructure, as students from the University of Leeds in England have managed to achieve with robots that can repair potholes in roads. So, this is where I open up to you listening, and of course to Allan and Martin in the studio. I think the core points here are A. Are we as close to the robot future as being made to believe? B. What could be a fallback from this sort of future if it came true? And C, will this actually improve society as a whole? Now, there's a lot of questions here, a lot of things to ask. So as you guys are thinking at home, I'm going to push it over to Allan. Is this future as close as we're being made to believe that it is?
They were saying very clear dates. What was it, 2030? They're aiming for a lot of this stuff to be done by. Technology moves so fast. I'll believe it. Obviously, it's not happening in a city that I live in. so I can't see the effects. As with anything, you need the time to develop it on location, right? To see this as beta testing for the final product. Even if they're just doing tourist things, that's still helpful and still a cool thing to do. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people complaining that robots are taking jobs. I like the way they look. They look very Fallout.
Is this the future that you want to see, replacing real police officers with robots, if they're as capable as they are set to be in 2030?
They're going to get a lot of abuse.
Yes.
From people.
Someone put one in a fountain in Washington.
Yeah, exactly. Even living police get a lot of abuse as it is. These things are going to get trashed. And there was the comment as well that they don't need to take sick leave. They'll still need maintenance, especially from being trashed by drunk people.
Yeah.
Or, gangs or kids or whatever. I think people don't have the same conscience about it as they would humans, so they might not be as effective in that regard. But if they can design them to be, that's fine, that's cool, go for it. I mean, design it, do it, push it. There's no harm in it until we bully them too much and then they don't like it anymore. But until that day, it'll all be fine. It's fine. It'll work out. Robots won't rebel.
So, Martin, I don't want to stereotype you a little bit here, but I would feel that you may come to this sort of topic in a skepticism, in the fact that you might feel that these are going to replace real people jobs and the chance of this robot being able to deal with all the different situations might not be true. Am I jumping ahead to conclusions here, or that's how you feel?
You're right, you know me well enough. And Allan is right, there are going to be some people who are going to raise concerns about police force, people taking jobs. I'm quite on the fence about this one. I can understand it'd be a cheaper way of governing the streets because, you got to pay people with robots just looking maintenance and off they go. It's approaching quicker than we actually anticipate. I'd say definitely there'll be at least one in one major city. And I also agree with Allan. I think they're going to get trashed, absolutely trashed. I might partake in these trashings. I won't know. I'm a law-abiding citizen, I should mention.
You're the one that threw it into the fountain in Washington.
Yeah, I actually flew over there, all the way over there just to trash this. I thought, yeah.
I thought so. This does bring you to the morality question that we get with Tesla cars and other robots that are being used today in this world. What if a robot makes a decision in the police force to protect itself, or can make a decision or do something that could cause harm to someone, and it makes the wrong decision and causes more harm in the situation? What if it sees a fire and it decides to try and extinguish it itself? Maybe it can do that in the future, but it ends up creating a worse problem, or it's blocking an entrance to a doorway, trapping people in the building, coming up with things that might not ever happen. But if something happens like this, where do we draw the responsibility?
Well, it's how you code it, how you teach it, and it's inevitable that's going to happen. Have you ever seen the film I, Robot?
Yes.
When Will Smith, this is a spoiler by the way, I should just let everyone know. When Will Smith's character's in the car and it's sinking and the robot saves him over the girl and he's screaming, oh no, save the girl instead of me first, because he knew he could survive it. But the robot's just programmed to go for whoever really, and that's just it. And I can see now people are going to start blaming these robots, but they can only go as far as they're programmed, and they can only go as far to the letter of the law. And yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some situations where robots did something that caused a bigger incident. They're not Supermen, they're not going to fly in a cape, save everyone. Oh, someone just died, let me just spin back the globe so I can reverse time and all that. They can only do so much. And I feel like, yes, there are going to be problems, and this is why I was skeptical about it. Yes, there are going to be problems that it could cause, but also I think how many problems it sort of resolved before it got out of hand.
So you think that they might be for better overall rather than for worse?
That's why I said I'm on the fence. I think overall, yes. I think they could become better for society. I think that our generation and our kids and their kids will definitely be more integrated with technology. And there are some AI interfaces out there, especially in Japan. So realistically, in about 50 years' time, we'll just accept it. That's the norm.
Do you think society will be better as a whole with these robots integrating? But let's just say, not just policing robots. So, infrastructure robots that will improve, whether it's things like the potholes in roads, the example I give, or repairing things around the community, or giving directions to tourists. These helper bots, let's say, do you think that they're going to take anything away from society that we haven't got today, but add enough to be worthwhile? Or do you think that we could have this future where things are a little bit more unsure?
Society's always unsure.
But, I mean, there's always this impending doom of the robots taking over.
You say society is ensured. Okay, do you think robots would improve society for no longer being... So let's say they are now here. Do you think that will improve people's lives and stuff, or...?
Well, like you said, it depends on how they're programmed. I don't think that it's an issue necessarily of the technology, or will the technology be ready for us? I think it's definitely a case of will we be ready for it when it comes? And I think I'm glad that we're having these conversations about the laws. I mean, whatever. We've been having these conversations in science fiction forever about whose fault is it if the machine breaks the law. Of course. But now that the courts are having these conversations, that's good. I think we're getting ready for the obvious coming of machines making decisions. And whether it's just doing potholes or solving crimes, whatever, we need to have the infrastructure for what if they do it wrong. So I think if we've got that sorted, they will be welcomed with open arms.
Okay, yeah, that's a really interesting point.
Because, especially with the crime thing, robots and machines can be reprogrammed or rebuilt, whereas people can't be. They have to be put away for a while.
John here has just broke the law. He's got to go away for 8 years. You've got to now pay for his food or this. It costs a lot of money. But with robots, you just, like you said, just reprogram them, reset, hit the reset switch.
With a car, it's quite simple in theory to decide what it might decide to do in certain reactions. But in policing duties especially, there's a whole host of context that has to be understood to know how to deal with situations. You can try and put some code in that's like right and wrong, but right in one situation could be completely different in a different situation.
So I've got a solution.
Sure.
Every cop has a buddy cop that's a robot. Pair them together, human and robot.
And then create a sitcom.
It does sound like a sitcom, yeah.
There we go.
I mean, this is a very big conversation, and I didn't expect any of you guys to have answers or to have really big suggestions.
That doubts us.
No, cricket noise when he asks.
No, I genuinely, because it is such a hard question to ask, and I'm sure you guys listening right now may be unsure, but that's exactly why I wanted to bring up the topic of conversation, get you guys thinking. We are heading in this direction, whether you like it or not, whether you are going to protest in the streets. This is coming at some point, whether it's coming in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It is coming, especially in the wealthier communities, in the wealthier cities, Dubai, where they can afford to invest in these things first. It is coming our way, and it will be interesting to see how these questions and hurdles are overcome as we progress forward into the future, whatever it may hold.
Welcome to the movie section of the podcast. So, we're in a bit of a lull at the minute. We're not really. Jurassic World's out, but I'm assuming nobody cares about that.
I care. No, I really don't. Really. No, I couldn't care less.
So, I've not gone to see that. I'm sure if you want to find a review of that, you can. But I have got a backlog of movies that I've seen that I've not even spoken about yet. So, I'm going to do a speed round of reviewing. In the middle of the table, we've got a few cards. Can you guys reach that?
Yeah. Can I ask a naive question?
Yes.
Are these all new up-to-date films, or are they...
They're
a bit of a mixture?
On the way out. So if you do want a bit of fresh air from...
Fuck, it smells a bit funny.
Yeah.
If you do want a bit of fresh air from these big blockbusters we've been having, your Star Wars, Marvel, whatever, go check these out. You might have to drive somewhere to go see them. You might have to go to an art house cinema, but...
They're out there.
Yeah, all of these should at least still be in a cinema somewhere.
Okay, well...
Wonderful.
Let's get
going. So, Martin, pick one out of the box.
Here we go.
Speed review. Oh, wait. I've got 3 minutes.
Oh, I'll get a timer.
Oh, I see. Well,
so I've got to review this in 3 minutes. So as soon as, Martin, you've read out the title, Ben, you'll hit start, and then you tell me when 3 minutes is up.
I'll let everyone see, yeah.
Try my best to finish up as soon as you do that. What have we got first, Martin?
First movie is You Were Never Really Here.
Okay, and go. So, You Were Never Really Here. This movie was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It's by Lynn Ramsey, who previously did We Need to Talk About Kevin, which is one of my favourite movies. And in this movie, Joe, played by Joaquin Phoenix, plays an ex-military guy who rescues kidnapped girls for a living. And makes no bones about being extremely violent. He'll kill the people that kidnapped them and, burn all the evidence. He's that kind of guy. Unfortunately, the next mission he takes, he gets involved in this giant conspiracy where he's rescuing the daughter of an American senator, and it builds up into this relationship with the girl, and then she gets taken away again. To be honest, the plot is very weak here. The narrative is really not that strong. I walked away wishing there was so much more, and I didn't feel enough context to get that emotionally involved. However, I think that was intentional. The emotion and the atmosphere of this movie is really why you're here. This is what was done fantastically. Joaquin Phoenix plays the part perfectly. One part of Joe's life is that he's got PTSD, he's suicidal, and this movie really gets in his headspace about why he is the way he is and just the way he's feeling. Like I said, because the plot wasn't there for it, I didn't get attached enough, I don't think. But if you want to just go in there and get emotionally involved, just put yourself into the picture and you will feel distraught and anxious throughout. Yes, so definitely go see it if you can. How am I doing for time, Ben?
50 seconds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm good. Like I said, it is really fantastic. It's definitely worth seeing. But if I had to make a complaint, I'd say I want more narrative. I know it was based on a short story of the same name, so I don't know how much was cut out or how much is actually kept in. But as a character piece about Joe, played by Joaquin Phoenix, it's fantastic.
Wonderful. Well done.
How would you rate it? How would you rate it? Quick, Allan.
I'd give it 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, not bad then.
It's not bad. Like I said, just a little bit unsatisfied, but all in all, very good.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you set?
Let's go.
Your 3 minutes starts after I say this. One word. Tully.
Tully. Oh, okay, this movie was awesome. And as you guys might remember, after I saw Gringo, I was really shaken about Charlize Theron.
A little bit.
It was not a great performance, but I bring good news. Charlize Theron is absolutely wonderful again. She proved me right that you can just watch her in anything. She's amazing.
Do you take your girlfriend with this one as well?
No, I didn't.
Oh, for God's sake.
So Tully is about Charlize Theron as Marlo, who is a expectant mother of her third child. And her family life is a mess. She's got her husband's away at work all the time. She's got a child with atypical. So he's got a lot of mental problems and he's suffering at school because of it. So she's just exhausted at the beginning of this movie, and Charlize Theron encapsulates that so well. You just feel exhausted watching this, for her trying to navigate her home life. So her brother suggests she gets a night nanny. Do you guys know what a night nanny is?
Babysitter? Isn't like a fancy word for a babysitter?
Pretty much. And
okay.
So she thinks, that's some hipster nonsense, I'm not going to do that. But as her child gets dismissed from school for being too much work, she just breaks down and calls the night nanny, who is Tully, played by Mackenzie Davis, who is also great in this. From then on, it's pretty much a movie about Tully and Marlo bonding and allowing Marlo to become a person again, to become human, not just a wife and a mother. Her husband even says, "Oh, you've become yourself again, the woman I remember." And I know a lot of people didn't like the way this movie went because it deals in a few surreal themes, and Diablo Cody, who wrote Juno as well, has its feet very much firmly on the ground, whereas this does have its abstract moments. And I think the surrealism is fine in this movie. It's very well telegraphed. It all leads to a very well-crafted ending. Marlo has these dreams of water and of mermaids, and that plays into the story. And really, I think it's used well to show that in this suffocating, airless, very high-pressure environment, there are people navigating through it with ease, which would be the mermaids, and obviously that represents Tully, and that's what she wants to be. It's a movie about who you are, who you want to be, who you were, and just, getting back into life.
5 seconds.
Go see it. It's very good.
2.
Charlize Theron is wonderful.
And stop. Well done.
Didn't rate it though. How would you rate it then, Allan?
Oh, I don't like giving 5 stars. I mean, it was...
No. Oh, I won't ask you for ratings anymore. It's a film that I went to go see. Lady Bird.
You've seen this?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, let me tell you about it. Okay, Lady Bird is the latest... Well, it's the first movie by Greta Gerwig, and it's about Saoirse Ronan as the titular Ladybird, and it's very much a coming-of-age story. It's about a girl who's navigating her senior year of high school, her first romance, prom, applying for college, all these classic tropes of a coming-of-age, 17-year-old story. But I think the thing that sets it apart is that it's honest, and very, very confidently honest. And it just feels so human. And with that honesty, with that humanity, comes a lot of very funny and a lot of sad moments. So it does get very emotional. I definitely laughed and cried through this movie. I don't know how you felt, Martin.
No comment.
No? And Greta Gerwig obviously has done a lot of fabulous writing before, but this movie is about parental relationship. Ladybird has a very strenuous relationship with her mother, and it feels like it's from the heart. Don't you agree? I can see you shaking your head.
It's not me under review here.
No, I know, fair enough. I feel like it's not only for teenagers to watch, because it's got this whole parental side of it as well. It's about dealing with people who, when your parents can't accept you for who you are, they want you to be the way they want you to be. And I think it was very well done. There's a lot of the theme of escaping your hometown. She talks the whole way through about how much she hates Sacramento. And when she finally does escape, well, I won't say how it goes, but I think it makes really humanizing points about growing up and about having a personality, having your own personality. And Saoirse Ronan is really good in this, as she usually is. Laurie Metcalf, who plays her mother, is fantastic. She does a really good job of just being that type of mother. She says all the things we've heard our mothers say. I really enjoyed it. And a great supporting cast as well. So I would definitely go see this movie if you can. Not necessarily a big screen movie, so you can wait for it to come out on DVD, but 5 stars for you, Martin. And you like your reviews, and I'm out of time.
I was only shaking my head because I was trying to sort of follow along. I agree with pretty much what you said there. It was definitely a coming-of-age story. I actually couldn't flaw this film at all myself. I actually really enjoyed this film.
Oh, good, I'm glad.
I really did enjoy it, yeah. It was a good film. So I agree with your review and how you put it.
2 left in the box.
2 left in the box. I am going to dive my hand into the box. Get my hand in the box, picking up the cards. This is the song.
Off the box.
Off the box. God, it's hot.
Oh, it's boiling in here.
Okay.
I'm dying.
The quicker you read, the sooner we can open the door.
Allan.
Good thing I'm doing speed review.
Speed review. Your second to last one, and your timer starts after this, is Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Oh, Mary and the Witch's Flower. I love this movie. So this is very much a kid's movie. It's a Japanese animated movie directed by Hiromasa Yonibayashi.
Good pronunciation.
He is a Studio Ghibli alumni. He's branched off and started his own company, Studio Ponuk. And this is a remake of Mary Stewart's 1971 The Little Broomstick, which feels very much like a precursor to the Harry Potter series. Obviously written a long time before, but you can definitely see J.K. Rowling's influences. It's about Mary, obviously, who is bored out of her mind one summer holiday in the English countryside, and she finds this old broomstick in the woods with this special magical flower that only blooms once every 7 years or something. And when she grabs both of them, she gets transported, whisked up into the clouds to this magical castle that's a school for wizards and witches. Sound familiar?
I think you're just saying about Harry Potter now.
It differs from Harry Potter in that she never really goes to the school. It's like a child masquerading in an unknown world, shouldn't be there, gets in trouble for being there, and Kate Winslet and Jim Broadbent voice the headmistress and one of the teachers who find out she's been lying. Then they also want this magical flower that she found, so they hold this boy in the town ransom, and she has to free him and free all the people from this castle. The animation is beautiful. Obviously, being someone from Studio Ghibli, it's superb. All the little details they get about England country life, it's amazing. Yeah, it's not quite as smooth as Studio Ghibli can be, but for their first movie, I think it looked amazing. Narratively, I can't really speak to the source material. It is a kid's book. It's a little thin. It feels like it's always getting going and then finishes. Do you know what I mean? Like, even the relationship, the only relationship really, is that between Peter and Mary, and they just seem like two people that have just met each other. They never feel like they become friends. Mary and her great aunt, who she's living with, it feels like it's just trying to get to the end. At first I felt like, oh, it's good pacing, but it never got anywhere. And it's still very charming, but I like Studio Ghibli. They always seem to respect the audience irrespective of their age, whereas this felt very young. It felt like it was for a very young audience. And I'm out of time.
You are out of time.
So you enjoyed the film then?
I did enjoy it. It felt magical. You could feel the magic. You could feel they really cared about making it, which is always important in a hand-drawn animated movie. But like I said, maybe it's just the source material that didn't get me.
Final thoughts? It's a yay, I take it.
Yeah, it's a yay.
And who should go see this film?
Definitely take your kids to go see this. I think if you want to see what was probably the inspiration to Harry Potter, go see this. There's definitely a through line there that you can piece together.
Our last one then, Alan, so you know what it is going to be, so don't really need too much preparation this time.
The audience don't know.
But yes. Oh. It's Harry Potter. No, it's Beast.
Beast, okay. So this movie is really upsetting because most of the people that made this have never made a feature film before, and it's really good. Very confidently made. So directed by Michael Pearce, again, never made a feature film before. And it's about this girl called Mole, played by Jessie Buckley, never been in a feature film before. And she is trapped in this suburban, family life on the island of Jersey. And the movie starts on her birthday, where she's very quickly upstaged by her perfect princess, younger sister. She's announcing she has twins. Everything then becomes about the sister. She feels isolated. Mole feels isolated. She runs away into the town of Jersey and goes out partying, gets with a boy who, if it weren't for Pascal turning up, would probably become a would-be rapist. Pascal saves the day, played by Johnny Flynn. Again, never been in a feature film before. He is the complete opposite of her family life. He's rough, he's a local working class man, he's a poacher, he's covered in dirt, scars, everything, and she just becomes infatuated with him. And slowly, almost like a rom-com, they begin their relationship. Behind all of this, parallel to all of this, there is a serial killer on the island, killing girls that look very similar to Mole. And as she gets into this relationship with Pascal, we get into this really slow burn psychological thriller. Is he the killer? Isn't he? What is he doing? What is he making her do to her family life? Her mother's very controlling and he's not good enough. So there's that whole side of it. And as we learn more about him, we also learn more about her dark side and her dark past. And we find out why at 27 years of age, she's still living at home with her mother. Putting it on Jersey Island is great because it just makes it feel so much more claustrophobic. Jersey has a history of, a killer as well. There is some real life inspirations there. And it also really adds to this idea of, the clues in the title, Beast. This is really, I hate the phrase, but an adult fairy tale. It's about a man who has been exiled from the community for his appearance, basically, for being thought of to be a murderer. And, he comes and saves the trapped princess, but they take in a completely different direction. And I really like how ambiguous the movie stays. They don't really give you an answer about, is he the killer? Isn't he? What's her deal? It's all implied, and I really love that. And Ben's mentioning I'm out of time.
Out of time, I'm afraid.
I could talk
you were
about
on a
that.
roll. Yeah, no, I can tell how much you like that film, and actually you are selling it to me. It's probably the best one I've heard of the deck that I wasn't aware of already.
I think we saved the best for last.
We 100% did. Final thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it stayed with me for quite a while because they don't give you a direct answer. You're just thinking about it. I really enjoyed all of these movies. So if you get a chance, quickly go watch them. They're not in for that long. Go see all of these movies if you can.
However, if you either don't have the money or if you had to go to one of these films, I know it's going to be difficult, you like all of them.
Okay.
If you had to go to one of these films, and in terms of good value for money, enjoyment factor, like all of these things taken into it, which one would get your golden ticket? Which one would be the one ticket?
Can I give you a political answer?
Give me whichever answer you want. I'm only asking
if you need to take your kids somewhere, Mary and the Witch's Flower is perfect. If you want an indie darling, feet on the ground, coming of age story, Lady Bird. If you want something very dark and heavy and suffocating, You Were Never Really Here. That really hits that violent tone. If you want to feel good about something, and I don't know, I know I said it was very exhausting to begin with, but I feel like it's a joy to watch. Tully, and I think Beast was probably my favourite out of the lot.
So Beast is your number one.
Beast is my number one.
Long-winded.
I know. But we got there.
That was longer than reviews.
They're all very different though, so I think they are all for a different audience. Oh, they can be.
This week in the Gaming Corner was a big one because of E3. So much has been released, so much has been announced, and to even put them in a short little segment on its own would be criminal. So I decided I'm going to pick some games that I thought were quite relevant and I thought that you would enjoy me talking about and hearing about. So the first one is the Devil May Cry series. I'm making a Devil May Cry 5, which is scheduled to be released in spring 2019. Are either of you fans of the DMC games?
Well, I'm not against them, but I never played any of them.
Not played them either, sorry.
Wow. Okay, I generally thought at least Allan would have played these. Many of these are all just announcement trailers. The trailers are definitely all pre-rendered. It's actually quite a nice breath of fresh air seeing the DMC making a return. I know that some of my friends who do play Devil May Cry, they wanted another installment. They wanted a progression of the last story. Very little is known about this game, but I just want to let people know that this game has been announced because a lot of DMC fans have been waiting for a new game, and this is definitely one to keep an eye out on. The trailer didn't reveal too much in terms of just a casual like myself, but it was a good watch. I would definitely urge everyone just to watch the trailer. Realistically, it's a very small one, but like I said, I thought more Allan could help me in this one, but he's let me down.
Sorry.
That's okay. Maybe you could help me in the next one, in another 5th installment.
I'll do my best.
Gears of War 5.
Yes, I did not think I wanted another Gears of War game. I thought I was completely bored by them, but that trailer was really good.
It was a good trailer. I will agree with you.
That was awesome.
And I have some details here. Instead of the lead by Marcus Phoenix and the old gang from 1, 2, and 3, and he was also in the 4th installment, it's now been taken over by Kate Diaz. In my opinion, the 4th installment was so bad and I just felt nothing for any of them. I really didn't enjoy it at all. The 3rd game I really loved, but the best one in my opinion was the 2nd because you had like game modes like Wingman and also the team deathmatch I actually felt with close quarter combat. It was just fun. And the 3rd was alright, but the 4th I sort of dropped off. But like you said, the trailer was incredible and it got me back on my radar and I thought I have to talk about this. It'll be released on PC and on Xbox One in 2019. Most of these games are going to be released in at least a year's time minimum.
They also had that side announcement about Gears of War Tactics, which looks like Gears of War XCOM.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't really want to mention that too much because I wasn't really sold on the idea, and that's exactly how I described it in my head. It looked like just a blatant rip-off of XCOM, just reskin it with Gears of War characters.
That sounds fantastic to me.
I'm not a massive XCOM fan. That's the problem. That's why I didn't put it in there. But no, I'm glad you did, because I'm sure there's someone out there who... And that's okay, because everyone likes games differently. Here's a game that I have been waiting for a good long time now. Kingdom Hearts 3. I've mentioned this so much on this podcast. I think we'll be millionaires if every time I said if I had a pound.
You've been waiting long enough, to be fair, and teased the hell out of. And... yeah, I saw this in the conference, the trailer or some footage, and I immediately thought of you, and I could see you smiling, even though you weren't with me. And also, maybe I've completely misremembered this or mixed this up, but when the PlayStation 4 was being announced, they talked about this game, so I got the impression that it was very much Sony-backed, but now, do you think the tables have turned because of how long it's taken? Do you think it's been something related to that, or am I missing the point?
No, generally this actually crossed my mind as well. So again, I'm glad you brought this up. I feel realistically this game has took too long to come out, and I feel like the tables are turning ever so slightly. I mean, this was announced back in 2015. That was 3 years ago. This will be now 4 years when it's actually released. So it's ridiculous to think that the last installment, off the top of my head, was that was in the main series, that was Kingdom Hearts 2, was 2006. Ever since then, we've had like just spin-off games. It's a massive hiatus for any game. In E3, it was the Frozen trailer announcement, just to say, look, we got Frozen as our...
How do you feel about that?
I think people should just let it go, man.
Wow.
No,
but seriously, what do you think?
I wasn't too bothered because I expected that they're going to go more up-to-date, modern feel because, like I said, that was a massive hiatus. That's nearly at least a decade ago that we got a main fleshed-out story. You now have to write a new generation of people, and that's why they brought in Toy Story. They've kept old favourites like Hercules World and all that, as well as they brought in the Tangled World as well. Realistically, I can see why they've done this. I just hope they don't mess it up because, like I said, it's been a long time. High
expectations are going to be made now because of how long it's taken. And this is the problem with games like this. The longer you delay it, the more people are waiting, the anticipation grows. So by the time it comes out, it better be damn good. Otherwise, people are going to be peed off, to say the least. And yeah, Toy Story, I'm excited to see Toy Story in there.
Absolutely, yeah.
It should have been in there a long time ago.
Yeah, this is just it.
Toy Story is hardly a new series.
Well, that was made in 95.
Exactly.
So, we've had many games before that. January 29th, this comes out. So
hopefully.
Well, allegedly. We've had this before. I just hope that they don't push it back any longer. You've got to start just saying, we've got to put this out at some point. Because otherwise, I'm chasing a pipe dream of actually owning a copy. I just feel like sooner or later, as much as I'm a big fan, I'm just going to go, forget it. I've had enough now. Okay, the next one is a massive game. It's The Elder Scrolls 6.
Finally. Not an online, on another console. Or is it?
Well, there are speculation. However, the whole details will be released in E3 2019.
Great.
So we've got a whole year to wait about it. So we can all speculate, and maybe I might do like an odd fixture. I'll say about where do you think The Elder Scrolls would go? If it's a slow few weeks or so. But yeah, it was only an announcement video. It pretty much just showed a quick landscape, bang, Elder Scrolls 6, people cheered, and that was about it. There was really not a lot to report on this, but I'm just saying that another Elder Scrolls is coming in out because the last one came out on the 11th of November 2011. That's a long time ago.
And since then, we've had the same game, just slightly different on slightly different platforms.
Remastered and everything.
Yeah, that was barely an announcement. They led into that announcement with next generation we're going to be making Starfield, and that was just a picture of a planet, and then we're like, and then after that we'll make Elder Scrolls. So yeah, it's going to be a while. I think they just got out there to say, yes, everyone shut up, we are making this, we have plans to make it, leave us alone please.
Let's go on with it.
And also a couple of their games got ruined by Walmart, accidentally leaking Rage 2 and stuff.
Yes.
So I think they just wanted an extra couple of things to add on to the end of the conference.
Okay, the next one is Halo Infinite. Have we got any Halo fans here? Wow, what are you two into?
I played the first Halo on my original Xbox.
Wow.
Actually, it looked kind of cool, but I'm not a Halo fan particularly.
I don't know what to really say now.
I think it was just a way to get the audience hyped at the beginning of their show.
Yeah, it was a hype merchant saying, look, we're still doing games, we're still making Halo, it's coming out, guys. A bit of announcement saying, look, we are making it, leave us alone.
Doesn't it feel a bit too soon after the last Halo? I don't know, Halo 5 doesn't seem that long ago.
The thing is, actually, I felt the last 5-6 years, their games just could be coming out on the conveyor belt. They made a Halo Wars 2, then it was Halo 5, then it was Halo Anniversary, or it was some sort of that mix. And it's bad if I can't remember the timeline, because they've recycled and just shoved so much stuff in the last 5-6 years.
I would say that Halo should have stopped when Bungie left, because Halo was Bungie.
Yeah, but yeah,
it was a pipe dream by a few kids who started out making a game for themselves, a game that they loved to play, and they created Bungie, and then that's how it happened. And they've been on this rollercoaster since until Bungie left, because they felt that this wasn't what they were doing anymore. They were corporately controlled, saying that this is what you need to do, rather than creating a game that they enjoyed playing, and that's why they went and then did Destiny. So for me, I'm not excited about it, mostly because I wasn't deep enough into the franchise to be desperate for another Halo, whatever shape or form it comes into, and B, for me, this is some carcass that's left over that are still trying to prop up to keep the core Xbox user base happy.
No, that's understandable. And yeah, again, I can't disagree with that. Bungie were Halo, and ever since then it has been a bit watered down. It doesn't play like it used to. I never get that much great feeling from it. I think the last one I really thoroughly enjoyed was Halo 3, and that was a long time ago. Okay, so these last two are just little tasters to go away with. So we've had the starter, we've had the main course, we've even had the dessert.
What was the dessert?
Well, I don't know. If you can't remember, that's great.
Okay.
So these are sort of like that mint on the bill that I'll pay for. Don't worry.
Oh,
it's
good.
on me, guys.
Great. It's a wonderful experience.
Absolutely.
So glad we came here.
So the final thing here is Xbox have confirmed that Microsoft promises to set the benchmark for console gaming. Sorry, what a statement to make, and what a vague promise to make. Like, set the benchmark. Don't get me wrong, the games I have announced are very coveted. Some of them are Xbox exclusive, and some of them will not be.
But I will say, I don't want Microsoft to get cocky again, because they've already been cocky, and see what happened last time. And they're doing really well. This is a really strong E3 lineup. There's some really great games. It's really showing them getting back into their element and really caught up with where they were lacking only a few years ago. So I'm just hoping that them saying we are going to lead the future, or we're going to do all this, is just, I'm hoping that they're still going to keep their eye on the pulse and actually listen to what gamers really want and not get ahead of themselves, which Microsoft tend to do. They kind of go, oh look, we can do everything completely different. We can, do this whole new thing. Look how amazing this looks. This is like how people are going to do this in the future. And you're like, hold on a sec. We're not there yet. You sure this is what your users want? It may look cool and you may get excited about it, but let's just step back a minute. So I'm hoping that Microsoft really just keep the finger on the pulse and just, do what's best for the gamers at the end of the day, because those are the people who are actually going to be by your side, supporting the games you bring out, the updates you do, and the community that you want to support.
You guys are getting really hung up on something the marketing team has put together. If you ignore what the PR people have said and look at their actions, they've acquired a whole bunch of new studios. Their conference was pretty much game.
Mm-hmm. 52 games.
The theory is, whoever's got the best installment of games kind of, wins the war. War in quotation marks.
You've literally just jogged my memory. On the train, just before I saw both of you, there's actually rumours that they're going to start a whole new console war, because with the console war before, with the 360 and the PS3, we could probably all say it was pretty obvious that the 360 won that quite comfortably. With the new iteration, I think you could probably justify PS4 winning that over the Xbox One, purely because the Xbox One has such a bad false start and it had to really come up the hill. And I will agree, this marketing thing was not seen in the previous iterations of the E3. 52 games were announced, and it was game. Here's a bit about what we're doing right now. Game. It was a very bold strategy, and it kept me interested until I had to fall asleep, obviously.
But I'd rather quality over quantity. I don't want this whole war to start off with who can announce the most games in the console, because yes, it's good, support indie developers, help them grow, bring out new games. But I'm just saying that it wasn't long ago, it was in recent history, that Microsoft got it very, very wrong. They thought the Xbox was going to be a media home, and they were trying to target every which angle of what it could do, but lost sight of the gamers. And it was Sony who were announcing a ton of games, supporting the indie developers and bringing the future. So Microsoft have done an amazing job. They have turned back the tides, done the right decisions, brought people back on board, and are doing quite well. I just want them, for the sake of the gaming industry, for the sake of competition, and for moving things forward, to just not get cocky or overconfident and just do what they do best and bring out fantastic gaming experiences.
I think that's all really that needs to be said in the Gaming Corner today.
And of course, we'll have to wait and see about PlayStation, because
that's going on right now as we're recording.
So you guys probably already know listening, but hopefully we can have a discussion about that next time.
I believe so. I can't see why not, Ben.
Well, you're the Gaming Corner man.
Martin.
Allan.
What was your favourite thing announced so far?
Does it have to be on anything?
Just out of all of E3 so far, what's...
Oh, well, that's an easy one then.
Kingdom Hearts.
It's going to be Kingdom Hearts. But if it couldn't be Kingdom Hearts...
Okay, yeah, scratch that one.
I would probably say... And it's, like I said, I hated Gears of War 4, but 5 really made me interested. And that's probably what that's the one I'm looking forward to. And not just to play, But also, I will probably talk about that most likely. When it's released, I want to talk about it. If we're still going, bit of hope. If Ben hasn't found that replacement just yet.
Still searching.
I know. I've seen the ad. I've applied to it twice under 2 different aliases.
Yeah, we know.
Oh.
Ben?
Go on then. I actually was not sure when I first heard about it. Watched the trailer. Bringing me back to my roots, where I started out in gaming. Forza Horizon. The new Forza Horizon, you didn't talk about it. It's based in the UK. When I found that out, I'm on board.
See,
Driving through fields of sheep sounds like my kind of car game.
It just sounds like an average day at your hotel.
It really does. And to be honest with you, yeah, it looks really good. And I'm very much pleased. It's coming to PC as well as Xbox One, so I will be getting that on the PC. Looks good. And
yourself, Alan, as you brought up the question, you must have an answer.
Yeah, the game that they wrapped up the Xbox One conference, Cyberpunk. That looks so cool.
Right.
It does look cool.
I was going to leave this for our next podcast as a thing on its own.
Okay, sorry.
So that's why, that's fine. I don't want anyone to be aware. He did talk about Cyberpunk.
Why can't we talk about it now?
No, because I haven't got my full notes on me. I want to give it a full justice because when I saw it, I definitely did think, this has come out of nowhere. This is definitely something I want to get more details on first and then definitely talk about it. I was waiting for someone to say about it. Like, man, you didn't talk about Cyberpunk. So don't worry. It is in my back of my mind. Don't worry.
I mean, I've been wanting to see what this was for so long. I'm a big fan of CD Projekt. They're the guys that made the Witcher games.
Yes. You're quite right.
Oh, it looks so good.
And they did that whole hacker, everything's going wrong stage thing to introduce. Then you saw Red. And when you saw Red, I was like, hang on, Red, where do I know that from?
I don't want to say anything just now, but yeah, that was definitely on my radar. Don't think, whoa, that was the big game mine. I haven't missed the trick. It's just that I just haven't got the full details that I would like to give it justice.
And there we have it. I'm afraid that's all we have time for on this episode of the 3 Pixels podcast, episode number 10. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, to hit it right now. Give it a little smash. And don't forget to tell a friend about the Series 2. Just tell someone you bump into, any random person, tap them on the shoulder. We're not responsible for anything that happens, but get them to subscribe to the podcast, and we'll love you very much. Working our way to that whopping 2,000 listens. Also, if you want to support us, we have put a page up. We've had a few people ask us, even a few people support us already, so thank you very much. You can visit the 3 Pixels website, and you can go to the support page and click to give us a coffee. Yes, you can give us a coffee, not a real one, a virtual one, and it'll only cost you $3, which is very, very cheap. One of the cheapest coffees I've probably ever bought. So if you want to support us there, please do so. We're not asking you to go support us, but if you want to, as some people have asked, you're not giving it to us, you're giving it to the content we create and helping us make bigger and better things. We're in a studio, of course, White City Place. Thank you to the guys at the MediaWorks making this happen. So things like this can only happen when we get some love and support from the community. These guys have supported us. So if you do want to, last time I'm going to say it, go to the support page, buy us a coffee, give us a little donation, or use our Amazon affiliate links, which is completely free, and we get a kickback from anything you buy. But with that, we thank you again for listening. I thank Alan for joining us and giving us a great movie roundup. Some brilliant films. Go and check all of those out, I would.
Yeah, please do. Go see those movies. Thank you.
And of course, Martin giving us that E3 roundup. Spent a lot of time on that. Really great games in there. Many I want to go and check out. Let us know your favourite one as well. Martin, thank you.
That's all right. Thank you very much.
And we'll see you guys on the next episode, whenever or wherever it will come from. Who knows? Probably will happen on a Monday, 2 weeks from now, if you're listening on the release date. Anyway, thank you for listening. We'll see you guys on the next one. Adios, amigos.
See you later. Thank you.
Bye.
You've been listening to the 3 Pixels podcast, a production by Alan Taylor, music provided by Epidemic Sound, and exec produced by Abrupt Audio. With that, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Good night. It's hot.
It is hot.
It's really hot. Can I have a licorice also? Oh, thank you. I'll just make extra noise while doing this. How you doing, Martin?
I'm okay.
How's the pod?
The pod? It's good. It's just warm.
It's very warm. You'd probably think I'd stop recording right now so we can open the door.
Please.
Alan,
Alan, save
we'll
us.
open it anyway. Yeah, here we go. You might hear the noise when we do it. There we go. We're now no longer...
Oh, it's coming back.
The pod's great, but I've had some weird looks.
Yeah, definitely.
I've never done it. It's like doing... Door shut. It's like doing it with an audience.
Yeah. I feel
none of them really care or want to actually see you.
Yeah, they sort of go, oh, what are they doing? They're talking to themselves. So
if you can't imagine what this is, so the pod basically is this cube with porthole windows. Is that what you call
Yeah,
them?
you're right, yeah.
Porthole windows looking out, and it's sound isolated. And there is air conditioned, but we have to turn it off because otherwise you guys can hear it. And we will have different views. I mean, I would have a view, but the blind's down, so I get to look at Martin's beautiful face. Martin, do you want to explain your view?
My view is I got two views. I've been spoilt for choice here. I think you said it was a South African restaurant over there, Alan.
It was a Muriel, right?
Oh, okay, I thought it was. I just genuinely believed. Alan could say whatever it was. I believed him. And I think on my right, I've got sort of green park. I guess you could call it a meeting point.
Yeah, it's kind of what Alan's looking at.
Yeah,
Alan, how is your view?
What's going on there? I can only see so much.
Well, it's London, so mainly construction.
Yeah.
And a bit of grass.
It's a beautiful sunset, though.
A thin narrow of sunshine that everyone was crammed into sunbathing.
This will normally happen.
I've nearly got London bingo. Bloody hell, it's going well. All I'm looking for is a black cab. Yeah? No?
What are you doing?
It's probably time.
Huh?
I don't get it.
Oh, in London bingo, you look at your normal sites, what you see in London, like Westminster. You got Big Ben, black cab. Haven't seen a black cab today, so that is on my London bingo.
Bingo! I thought you were saying mingo.
No, not mingo, not flamingo.
Well, it was mingo.
London bingo.
You've already been in the wrong part of town.
Mine has this fun life, doesn't it? You can tell he lives in Banbury, can't you?
You could tell this is a real day out for you.
Where London becomes a game. To everyone else, it's an annoyance and a pain in the backside in which everyone will just disappear. But to mine, it's a game of bingo.
Here's someone on the other side of the reach. Mingo!
Mingo! That's my mingo, brother.
What?
Okay, that's the time it is.